in London, Ontario. Okie dokie, we're being recorded. Welcome to those of you on Zoom. Good morning. And then welcome to everyone that's going to watch us later on YouTube. Got a phone with you? Are you on Facebook? Check in that you're at Unity of London. Looking forward to a great talk by Rev Mary Wood, or just turn it off or silence it, please. And then we don't disturb in the middle of meditation or some laughter to a do-do-do-do. Okay, so Unity of London shares the same vision message, or same vision as almost all the unities worldwide. So let's affirm this vision together, and we see a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. And how are we going to do that? We got a mission. We're on a mission. And we'll affirm that, and we see ourselves co-creating with spirit to transform lives through shared spiritual awakening. And what does that look like? Well, we are all one. We believe that we are a loving, inclusive, supporting community, and that we're all wonderfully made, just a little bit different. But we do see the face of God in everyone that we meet, because we know we are all an expression of the divine. And self-expression, being yourself is self-love. Let yourself shine. Don't try to shine as somebody else. Just shine as you are and let your joy come through. We live the 5 principles. Number 1, that God is. There's only one power in the universe, active, flowing with and through everything, and it is good. And we see that power everywhere through ourselves, through nature, just watching the flow of life, making the trees blow and the water ripple and us smile, have fun. Oh, we have more. Okay, so second principle is I am a piece of that life force. Each one of us is an expression of the one and only power, God. Number 3 is I think. It's our feelings, our thoughts, feelings, and ideas, and the attitudes and beliefs that we choose that directly influence how we experience life and what we do co-create. We do that with prayer. 4th principle. Using prayer, it's our conscious reflection in the silence, and it's our true conscious connection to that one and only God. And number 5, I live. We live those principles. It's not enough to just know them, it's to live them, and then you truly do know them. And when we make every thought, word, action, and an intentional spiritual practice, we unleash our powers of divine life, love, and wisdom. And we also inspire people to make a positive difference, be the change that you would like to see in the world. And we work together on coexisting, fellowship and education for spiritual seekers of all walks of life. For how do we have spiritual awakening without questioning sometimes the thoughts and things that come to us? And we're shaking things up just a little bit these days. By the way, the microphone's working. We're going to have a song.
Am I on? Oh, good morning, Unity.
He's our spokesman too. Unity Trio spokesman.
Which is When I Pray, which is a Daniel Namod song, classic song. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, into my God. When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here,
right where I am, I pray.
So let's stand up and affirm this. It's right here, right now. When I pray,
I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my soul go deeper, my soul go deeper into my God. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God. When I pray, I feel my love go deeper, my love go deeper into my God.
right here, right now. Right here,
Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I pray. Right here, right now, right where I am, I When I pray, I feel my heart go deeper, my heart go deeper into my God. Awesome. Good job.
And speaking about prayer, our prayer, oh, we have announcements. Oh, no. Okay, this is part of the announcements. Our prayer chaplains for today. Pauline is here in person at 501 Nelson Street to pray with anyone that would like individual one-on-one prayer in our prayer room, which is right behind the screen. And Wilda is online for those that would like to learn or have one-on-one prayer with Wilda. Our announcements are that the Way of Mastery, the Jeshua letters began on Wednesday, February the 1st. Thanks to Catherine Bro for facilitating that. You might still be able to get in there, but you want to get in as early as possible. You don't want to let the others get too far. I don't know if you really can catch up with something like that. Anyways, as well, thanks to Lindsay Wilson. Thanks, Lindsay. I think I saw a number of people in the fellowship hall who began an in-person workshop here. And it's about moving the body with ease and grace, I think, if I was to simplify it. And if I'm wrong, it's about moving the body and it won't hurt. That much I know. Remember, our library is open for your lending or purchase choices. So we've got some great books for sale, some wonderful books that you can borrow. About that phone, could please turn the phone off or down. Thank you. Condo lottery is coming up soon. So get ready to get some tickets and take them out and share them with your friends and family. Our power for the month of, we have one more that's not on my list. The annual general meeting is scheduled for March the 5th. So get that in your calendars. We hope everyone can join us. And there will be a potluck going to have a meeting, got to have food. And there is an opportunity for 1 or 2 people to join the board. And it's a wonderful experience. Out of 10 years, I've spent 9 years on the board, and I'm not bored. So if it is on your heart, maybe spend some time over the next week in prayer meditation. What is mine to serve, and how may I serve my community at Unity of London? And if being on the board is something that calls to you, we'd appreciate you stepping forward and letting us know. And so now we will go into, oh, okay. The condo lottery. So it's coming up soon, but here's more details. It's a week in Grand Bend on the river, in a condo on the riverfront. It's a 3-bedroom, 4-bath. It'll sleep 6 to 10. There's a 1 parking spot. There's a use of 2 kayaks, full kitchen and laundry. Oh, I was thinking I'd like to go by myself, but if there's laundry, maybe I'll bring somebody to do my laundry. You see, I'm already planning on winning this. And the tickets are only $25 each, or 3 for $50. And we're doing the same as we did with our condo lottery pre-COVID. There's only 400 tickets available, so everyone's got a great chance to win. And it is a week in the condo plus $500 cash. Whoa! And being in Grand Bend, this is an easy sell, folks. This is an easy sell. Okay, I think next is prayer. Yes. So Unity was founded over 130 years ago on affirmative prayer. There's something very unique about how we pray at Unity. We don't beg and ask a deity outside of ourselves to answer our prayers. We know that God is within, and with our 12 powers, we have the ability to create what it is that we want. And speaking of powers, our power this month is strength. We got somebody that's not quite muted on Zoom. Good morning. So strength is recognized by the color of spring green. It's in your lower back. And if you're interested in knowing, it's Andrew is the disciple. But our ability of strength gives us the ability to endure, to stay the course, to persevere. And recently I was listening to Earl Nightingale's Strangest Secret. Great recording if you've never heard it, but it's pretty cool how he talks about you've got to have faith. You wouldn't persist if you didn't have faith. So persistence and faith and strength all fit nicely together. So I'll ask, and if you, we have our prayer box at the front here. So if you'd like additional prayer for yourself or any 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 people, put their names on the piece of paper, put it in our prayer box, and they will be prayed over here and then sent down to Unity Village to be prayed over as well. And now I invite you to go into prayer with me. So maybe close your eyes if you're comfortable. Settle comfortably into your seat, let your shoulders drop, and become aware of your breathing, your heart beating. And as we prepare for prayer, we call into our circle Unity Vancouver Island in Nanaimo, BC, and our Unity of Canada board members. We hold our entire Unity of London community in our prayer, and all the friends and families that are connected with us. And as we connect with spirit, we think about that color of spring green, our strength. We quicken or activate that strength, knowing that some of the things that are ours to do may at first appear difficult, but we have the strength to endure. For spirit never puts anything on our hearts that is not ours to do. So with our strength quickened, we see ourselves stepping forward into service. Whether it's service here at Unity of London, service at home, service in our community. And we know that as we, as a community, go outside of this building and into the rest of the community, the way we look people in the eye and see the face of God, the way we smile at people, the way we give money to those in need, all of the little things that we do are so important and they make a difference. And so we also see our community growing in numbers so that we can serve more, send out more love, let more people know that they are loved and that they too are a divine expression. We see this happening as we are holding this vision in our prayer, and we see our love expanding, and we appreciate each other and the time together today. And we'll have a great service. And so it is, and so we let it be. Amen. And now Dawn, I think, is going to come up and read our daily word and introduce our speaker.
Today's daily word is entitled Healing. My faith is making me well. My faith is making me well. Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore's healing journey. I can't speak today. Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore's healing journey began when she changed her mind. Inspired by the words of a healing practitioner, she took this affirmation to heart. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. After 2 years of persistent health-affirming meditation, prayer, and practice, Myrtle was healed. Her faith made her well. Myrtle Fillmore lived joyously and vigorously for many years. I take inspiration from this story. I too am a living expression of God. I feel my body's quickening response as I claim my inheritance of divine life, vibrantly active in every cell of my body. Good nutrition, exercise, and rest support my healing practice. My faith is making me well. He said to her, daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace and be healed of your disease. Mark 5:34. Reverend Mary, dear Mary, has served in Unity churches in Fort Wayne, Indiana, in Mississauga, Ontario. She retired from full-time ministry on December the 31st, 2021. Mary is the author of the book, Beyond the Fear of Stuttering, My Journey of Self-Acceptance and Freedom. With her message, Strength for the Journey, Patience, Tolerance, and Steadfastness, please join with me in welcoming back our friend and guest speaker, Reverend Mary Wood. Thank you. You're welcome. It's on. Thank you.
Well, good morning. Wow. A little refreshment. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah. Well, I thought I'd share a little bit about Myrtle and Charles, and I didn't know it was in the Daily Word. Here it is. Yeah. Charles Sherlock Fillmore. Did you know his second name was Sherlock? I didn't either. Mystery. Charles Sherlock Fillmore was born in St. Cloud, Minnesota on August the 22nd 1854. An ice skating accident when he was 10 years old broke his hip and left him with lifelong disabilities. In his early years, despite little formal education, he studied William Shakespeare, Lord Tennyson, Ralph Waldo Emerson, as well as works on spiritualism, Eastern religions, and metaphysics. Wow. What a way to grow up. And he met his future wife, Mary Caroline Myrtle Page. Wow. In Denison, Texas in the mid-1870s. And after losing his job there, he moved to Gunnison, Colorado, where he worked in mining and real estate. Talk about a varied life and a varied background, eh? Then he married Myrtle in Clinton, Missouri on March the 29th, 1881. And the newlyweds moved to Colorado, where Charles established a real estate business. Man of many talents. After the birth of their first two sons, listen to the names: Lowell Page Fillmore and Waldo Rickert Fillmore. Wow. The family moved to Kansas City, Missouri. And as I think was spoken about this morning, Myrtle suffered from tuberculosis, and at one point in her life, she was given 6 months to live. She had a family history of disease and early death. Everyone thought her decline was inevitable, and they shared that with her. Isn't that nice? Huh? And in her letters, she described herself before she began her healing journey as an emaciated little woman. What a change. And then in 1886, a Christian Science practitioner from Chicago, Dr. E.B. Weeks, was presenting a series of lectures downtown Kansas City. Myrtle attended, and her life changed entirely. She left the lecture with the realization, as the words were spoken, I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit sickness. My life changed when I also heard those words when I come to Unity. I am a child of God, and therefore I do not inherit stuttering. Ooh. Myrtle subsequently recovered from chronic tuberculosis and attributed her recovery to her use of prayer and other methods learned in Weeks' classes. Subsequently, also, Charles began to heal from his childhood accident, a development which he too attributed to following this philosophy. Charles became a devoted student of philosophy and religion. He also created the 12-power system, which we celebrate every year. And he created that more than a century ago. Each of us has 12 creative powers that are fundamental to us. And these are the aspects of our divine nature. And he likened the 12 powers to the 12 apostles, followers of Jesus. One of the main teachings of unity is that Jesus is the great example and not the great exception. Let's have that one again, because I think that's blah. One of the main teachings of unity is that Jesus is the great example and not the great exception. In other words, each one of us using our inherent powers is capable of becoming like Jesus. I can remember the first time I heard that at Unity in Hamilton, and I just sat there. I can't say what I said, holy. And it was like, wow, because for years I'd heard something different. And so to accompany us on this journey, we accept and acknowledge, as we have been told, the power of strength, one of our 12 spiritual powers, which is gifts from God. Revealing Word, our metaphysical dictionary, defines strength as the energy of God. Strength is the power to endure, to last, to persevere, to be persistent, and to be stable. This definition of strength gives us heroes such as Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Nelson Mandela, the Dalai Lama, and perhaps the greatest example of all, Jesus. Isaiah 30 verse 15 tells us that in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Now, William Warch, in his book, Your 12 Gifts from God, has anybody read that besides me? It's on the 12 powers. It's an awesome book. In that book, William says we find our strength in the stillness and in the silence of our being. I also want to share another perspective that's written by Byron Katie, author of Loving What Is. Have you read that one? Whoa. Here's what Byron Katie writes. Some people think that silence is more spiritual than speech. That meditation or prayer brings you closer to God than watching television or taking out the garbage. But she writes, silence is a beautiful thing, but it's no more beautiful than the sound of people talking. Might want to think about that for a minute. I know I did. And then I remembered I was in a workshop with Will Tuttle. He was a marvelous pianist who came to Unity of Hamilton. And he asked that we listen to the sound of one hand clapping, or we listen to the silence while he was playing the piano during a meditation. I can still see me sitting there. And as he played louder, I found out that the silence became louder in the middle of him playing. And I came away from that experience knowing that it is all one, that there is no separation. So now let's look at the three spiritual aspects of this power of strength. The first one is patience. Patience is one of my lessons in this lifetime, let me tell you. Dear God, please grant me patience, and I want it right now. Patience is calm, centered endurance. It's not watching the clock or the calendar. Patience is persistent courage. And whenever we need courage, we can consciously go inside wherever we are. I have to tell you a little bit, just a very short story about patience for me. Last Thursday, I was downtown Hamilton, corner Main and John, and I rear-ended this woman who was going to go through the yellow light and then changed her mind in the middle of it. And so I got out of the car. I'm not saying that she couldn't speak English, so I couldn't understand what she was saying. She was taking pictures of everything on her phone. The cars were going past honking, and she wanted to stand and talk in the middle of the road. So I could have used this lesson in patience then, let me tell you. Now, when I think of patience, Nelson Mandela comes to mind. When he was sentenced to life imprisonment on Robben Island, right from the beginning, he used nonviolent methods to resist the prison guards. He developed creative ways to keep the prisoners from feeling the psychological burdens of being a victim. And while they were there, while they were exposed to punishing working conditions, he made sure that their minds were kept sharp. Each team of workers was assigned a member to instruct the others. This is inside, to instruct the others in history, economics, politics, and philosophy. So over the course of his 27 years in prison, Mandela became the most significant leader for Black South Africans. Incredible. So was he watching the calendar, wondering when his sentence would be served, when he was going to get out? Don't think so. The second spiritual. Every time I say spiritual like that, I think of Martha Creek. I don't know if anybody's worked with her, but that's one of her expressions. Don't be so spiritual. I'll have to tell Martha I mentioned her name this morning. Anyway, the second spiritual aspect of strength is tolerance, being open-minded, being fair and just with those who we disagree with. Can you relate to that? Just a tad, maybe? Celebrating our differences and knowing that diversity is a blessing and not a curse. Remembering this when we're communicating with each other in whatever way it is these days. We learn from someone who has different ideas and different customs than we do. But having someone agree with us all the time allows us to feel that we're right all the time. And on some days, don't we like to feel right? Can anybody relate to that besides me? Why? Because it feeds our ego. So tolerance is being able to look at new ideas, admit when we've made a mistake, and to change our way of thinking. Change, you change one little letter in the word change, and what do you get? The word chance. Just thought about that. So tolerance is putting the golden rule into practice. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Tolerance is seeing things with your heart more than things with your head. Here's a little story about a man who left this earth excuse me, and was taken on a tour of the inner realms. He was shown a room where he saw a large group of people who were trying to eat dinner. But because they were trying to eat with the spoons that were longer than their arms, they were hungry and they were frustrated. So the guide told this man, "This is hell." "That's terrible," said the man. "Please show me heaven." And when they opened the door, heaven's door, the man was surprised to look at almost the same scene. There were people with spoons longer than their arms. However, he saw happy faces and full tummies. Why? There was one important difference. The people in heaven had learned to feed each other. Doing unto others as you would have them do unto you. The third spiritual aspect found in the power of strength is steadfastness. Don't you love that word? That's an old. Our ability to stay centered, focused, and to never give up. And who do you think of when you hear those words, never give up? I thought of Winston Churchill. I'm old enough to remember the Second World War. He said these words on October the 29th in 1941. It was after the Blitz, an intense bombing of London and other cities. And now things were starting to look up a bit for Britain. And Churchill said, "For everyone, surely what we have gone through this period, this is the lesson. Never give in, except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy, whatever that enemy might be. And I thought these words bring to mind these three words. You cannot fail. At times it may feel that you and I are getting nowhere. But it's important to realize that you're not being tested, but we're being fortified and made stronger. We cannot fail. Why? Because all paths lead to the same road. And that is the road to peace, to joy, and the memory of God's unconditional love that is with us in every moment of every day. And we can go off course now and then. Can you relate to that one? We will always be led back to what we have come here to do. That's good news. Edison quit school when he was 8 years old. Only after 3 months of education, his teacher labeled him backward. Leonardo da Vinci and Hans Christian Andersen were labeled in their youth as retarded. Einstein's headmaster warned that the boy would never amount to anything. What happens when we listen to somebody else? However, deep within their souls was an ingrained spirit and a confidence to persevere and to be steadfast. So they listened here instead of out here to what they know, what they knew was true for them, not what somebody else thought about who they were and what they should be doing. Mother Teresa, I know God will not give me anything that I can't handle. I just wish he didn't trust me so much. I love it. You see, God's love for us is always steadfast. It never wavers. It never changes. No matter who we are or what we have done. And you know that I work with ex-offenders. I actually work with sex offenders. So is that important in everyone's life? We are grateful for this truth. We are grateful for this freedom that it brings to step forward and to have the strength to follow what is in here, not what is out there at times. The disciple Andrew, as we said, portrays strength. Did you know that Andrew was originally a disciple of John the Baptist? And he first met Jesus when Jesus was baptized by John. Andrew was the first of Jesus's disciples and was also called the introducer because he introduced his brother Peter to Jesus. And when Jesus fed the 5,000, it was Andrew who introduced, remember the lad with the 5 small loaves and 3 fishes? Andrew introduced him. And as Andrew followed Jesus, he developed strength in another way, the ability to determine a course of action and persist in it. Did you know that Andrew was crucified just like Jesus? I didn't know that. I see some head shaking. Yeah. And as his life ended on the cross, he was still preaching and remembering Jesus's words. I will be with you always, even unto the end of the world. So with his own death, Andrew taught them how to live because he had a special kind of strength. And as with all of God's gifts, strength flows easily and freely when we invite it, when we welcome it, and when we say thank you for it. We're always strongest when we're faithful in remembering who we are, that we are one with the presence of God. And so it is. Amen. Now I'm going to have another drink. And now I invite you to close your eyes as if that feels comfortable for you. And if you want to place your hand on your heart. And let's just take a moment once again to be aware of who we truly are. That we are the presence of God. A truth that never changes no matter what is happening out in the world. There's a lot of stuff going on these days. So no matter what is happening out there, when we truly go inside, we know that we are this loving presence of God. And through this power of strength, we know that we do have the patience. That we have patience no matter what shows up in our life. We can look at it as a lesson. We have the patience not to expect it to enter today and go tomorrow. But the patience to know that we are being led through this situation through the love of God. And we have tolerance. To be patient with one another. To understand where someone else is coming from. To wait. And to know that whatever is in our life today is here for us to learn from and to grow from, and no matter how long that takes. And so as we continue on this journey that our hearts have led us to, and that our minds have said yes to, we say thank you, God, for this time together, for this opportunity to come together to learn from each other, to grow from what someone else says to us, even though at times we might want to turn away from this deep underneath. We know that this is for us. And we thank you for the strength that each one of us has been given in order to live our lives to the fullest. And now I invite you to spend a moment in silence and in gratitude for this power of strength in the silence. And we say thank you for this opportunity to come together, to learn, to love. And so it is. Amen.
Wow, that was a wonderful lesson. And we learned a little bit about Charles and Merle that a few of us didn't know. Yeah, Sherlock. And that Myrtle used her third name, not her first name. It's interesting, but a great lesson on learning a little bit about our co-founders and how just one talk can change your life, from dying from tuberculosis to refusing to even think that you have sickness, and for Charles to make a difference with his leg as well. So and a lot of that would come from their power of strength. So thanks, Rev Mary. That's wonderful class. What wonderful lesson. And now we're going to have another lovely song by our trio.
In beauty, may I walk all day long. May I walk through the seasons. May I walk. May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace on this path. May I walk through my life. May I walk in old age. May I walk. May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. May I walk, 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 may I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. In joy, may I walk in love, may I walk in gratitude, may I walk, may I walk in peace, may I walk in peace. In silence, may I walk in forgiveness, may I walk in loving kindness, may I walk, may I walk in peace, may I walk in peace. May I walk, 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 may I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. May I walk in peace. May I walk. May I walk in peace. In peace now. May you walk. May you walk. Always walk in peace. In peace. May we walk. May we walk in peace. In peace. May I walk. May I walk with loving kindness. In peace. In love. May you walk in joy.
Thank you. Another great song. And now we come to the time. Oh, yep, we've got Peggy back there. I thought, do I have to do this? No. So the abundance of the universe brings us lots of snow. I'm looking at the picture. But look at the beautiful water. Oh, so we take a moment to thank those who over the last week have shared their time and their talent and their treasures. And if you'd like to share your offering today, Renee's going through the room. But we are so grateful here at Unity of London to have continuing support from each and every one of you through sharing your time, your talent, and your treasures. So we take a moment and we'll go to the blessing or the divine love. There we go. So let's bless the offerings that have come in this week and that we know are that have come in over the past week and we know are coming this week as well. That we know that divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. And we're so grateful for anyone that's new joining us today and hope you'd like to come back again. And we have our prayer for protection. So if you join me with this, the light of God surrounds me. I am the light. The love of God enfolds me. I am the love. The power of God protects me. I am the power. And the presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am the presence. Sorry, I closed my eyes and got into it. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Yay, God. And our peace song. So if you find yourself this week going, oh, I don't know if I can do this, just quicken your strength power and you can. Have a great week.